Welcome back to R for Economics. In this one, we'll be talking about how to do an event study using R. So in this one, I need to install the package Event Studies. However, it's unavailable through the usual install packages, so I'm going to install it using GitHub install. So I have to bring in the GitHub install package, bring in the library, and then I can bring in my event studies. Now it's asking me, do you want to install this package? My answer is yes. Install. Now, it's already been installed. I installed it earlier. So it's looked and it's found that there's no update. Now, I can run this again and say force equals true. Do I want to install it? Yes. Now it's downloading it from the repository, from the person who's made it, and then it's saying, oh, these other things need to be updated, or there's updates on this from this GitHub, and I don't want to install any other ones. I already have these all installed, so I'm going to choose option 3, say none, and then it goes through the installation. And now I have it installed. I can now run my event library, and there we can see that it said, oh, I need zoo as well. And you can look at the zoo video in order to find out about that. And now it's also loaded in a package XTS, which is a time series, cross-sectional time series package. So I can bring in the data, stock, returns, price, split, other returns. So if we look at these, we can see that the returns, they're simply just the returns of the series. We could also look at the summary, stock, return, prices, returns, and we can see that the minimum, maximum, and these are the returns. So they're usually centered around 0, and there are some missing observations due to holidays or odd weeks where the stock wasn't traded. If we look at the other returns, we can see that this is just some index, money call, and then the exchange rate at the end. Split dates is kind of different, and what it has is the name, and this would line up with one of these series here, Bahel, and it's saying that there was a split of the stock market number of stocks on this date, and then so on and so forth for the other ones, and it matches up pairwise the name and the date. This will be important for the event. So our event in this one is a stock split on these dates for these series. One thing to note is that these are zoo series, and that just means that zoo will order them based on the time period. Class is a data frame, and then the other returns is a zoo item as well. These are important because zoo items are what's used inside of the event study function. So the event study function, it requires that you give it what the returns are, what the event list is, so the split dates, so the name of the firm and the when, the event window, so how big the window is, the type, and then to remap and so on. We'll get into those in just a second. And then inference, it wants to do a bootstrap, which means that it's going to try to replicate and simulate the standard errors rather than estimate them based on some forced distribution. So it's now been run. We can see what we got. We have results, we have outcomes, we have strings. If we look at the plot, we can see the outcome of our plot. So 7 days prior, it's kind of close to 0. The event seems to have a significant effect downward, and then it comes back again after the 7 days. Now, if we use the market model, which means that it's now going to use the Nifty index as saying, oh, well, these things should, rather than run as just a constant, they should be now running on the Nifty index. So if we run this one, we don't need to see the outcome. And here we see that there's very little effect. So the effect that we saw in the average may have just been the market itself might have been changing on that event day. The last one is to use an augmented market model. What does that mean? That just means that it can run a regression like the one before on the index, but it can also take other regressors as well. So you can provide it with a set of other regressors, and then it will take those and lag them if it need be, however many times. So for some of these, it didn't have enough observations. That's just a warning. And that's a requirement of the LMAMM, which is just simply an LM estimation with the regressions. If we look at our plot, now we can see that there was actually a rising effect going on prior, and then it actually dropped. If we look at our summary, we can see that some of these had the wrong spans. It also gives us our table of our data that we just see here as well. Okay, and that's how you run an event study. You can also look at the results. And here you can see what the results are, that these are the coefficients that get generated. And somewhere in this list here, you can also get this series that makes up the graph. Okay, that's the event study, and we'll see you in the next video.